combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And I've got another episode of Jimmy Rants all in store for you here today. And if you're brand new to the show, head on over to JimmyRants.com. And that's where the magic happens. You'll see that we start off on Instagram, doing an Instagram Live. So you can join people like JLou965 and Joshua Winslow and Alberto and Dr. Joe 413. All of these guys just came in here live. So go follow me at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN, and you can catch this live just like all of these guys down here who are coming in. If you miss it live, you can watch the replay for up to 24 hours. So you go follow me on Instagram. But if you're not an Instagram type, and I get it, not everybody likes to hang out on social media, we do have these videos on YouTube as well. So go over to YouTube and type in Jimmy Rants as a keyword. You will find all of these episodes. And then finally, if you don't like watching this mug, you can listen to my voice on the Jimmy Rants podcast, which is available on Apple Podcasts. All of this stuff, you guys, is available at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is all about old habits. So we all come to keto or to eating real food or to trying to be proactive about doing something nutritionally for the sake of our health. We all come at this with the background that we had disordered eating in some way. We binge ate, we had crappy garbage for what we ate as our food. We just never really embraced anything about healthy nutrition before. So then you find a modality like a low-carb, high-fat ketogenic diet, and you make the switch, and you start seeing great benefits. And you get all these amazing benefits in your weight, where you're losing weight at a good clip. You get great benefits in your health. Various health markers that might have been doing bad before you started suddenly start to do better. And you're rolling. I mean, you're just like the new rock star for keto when you first get started. And there comes a point where perhaps you start putting on a couple of pounds, or you don't lose weight, or maybe you just slip up in some way where you revert back to some old habits again. And so what I want to talk about in this Jimmy Rants is, why is it so easy to slip back into old habits again when it comes to your eating? And this is something that I get a lot from people where they're like, I've been doing so good and suddenly my brain just wanted to have macaroni and cheese. Or I've been so good on keto, I can't believe that I suddenly want to go out with friends and have pizza and go to town. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who's been through that brain exercise of why you slip back into old habits, and you don't do it consciously. You got to think about it this way. Most people who start a ketogenic diet, they come at it from a long history before that. And in that long history, guess what you did? You formed very strong habits about how you ate, about how you socialized with people, certain circumstances. I'm recording this around the holidays, and so holidays have their own unique foods. I remember my Aunt Jeer. We'd go to Memphis, Tennessee, and we would go in her little bitty duplex apartment, about 20 of us, 25, 30 of us, a bunch of us in a little apartment. And I remember all the different foods we had for Christmas Day dinner. And the thing I remember the most, because it was just so oddball, was boiled shrimp. Anybody else have boiled shrimp for Christmas holiday? Anyway, my Aunt Jeer did. And so that was a tradition. And so what if her tradition was cannolis? What if her tradition was donuts? What if the tradition was some other form of crappy garbage? then this time of year, we would have this association with that crappy garbage. I'll give you an example too. My wife, Christine, her family in Indiana, at Christmas time every year, they make this bread. It's just this old recipe that's been passed down from generation to generation. And that's how they get together during the holidays, and they make this bread. And it's all surrounding this bread, and they all eat the bread, and that's their tradition. And so you suddenly go keto, and around comes this holiday, which then reminds them, oh yeah, that's our tradition. How do I not make the bread? And so that's an easy way of how you can slip back into old eating habits again. You can't let go of cultural traditions in your family. And then sometimes you got to be kind to yourself when you're in the midst of this journey, because a lot of people, they're in it for like 3 months, and then they start to have these feelings. They're like, I thought I was over it by now. I'm like, look, you're talking about years, maybe in some cases, decades of where you have conditioned your brain to eat a certain way and to live a certain way and to develop habits. And so do you think just a few months of eating keto is going to undo all of that wiring that's going on up in your head? It will some. And as you feel better, you will get a lot of the benefits from that. But many people have a very hard time because, especially triggers, if there's some life event that reminds you of the way you used to be, guess where your brain goes? It goes to where you felt comfortable. If there's some smell that you have, it's so amazing what could trigger you. But some smell could trigger you to go back to eating your old way again. For some people, it's smelling bread in a grocery store. I remember yesterday I was dropping my sister off at the hotel, and so when we got out of the car, you could smell cookies cooking over at Costco. And I'm like, yeah, they're pumping that out into they want people to come buy cookies. But that could trigger some people into slipping back into old eating habits. Okay, is this resonating at all? Are you recognizing that this happens? And or are you recognizing that while when you first started keto, you did notice it kind of pushing you back to that propensity to want to slip back into old eating habits, but now that you're a little more seasoned veteran at this is what I've found, having done this a very long time. When I smell those things, it's like, okay, oh yeah, I'll remember a time in my life when I had a pizza or whatever, or when I had a donut or a cookie, and it becomes nostalgic, but not something that makes me long for that old bad eating habit again. But the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants, it is easy to slip back into old eating habits again in that short period of interim when you're still trying to be keto adapted. Get your body used to it, and when your body is more used to being healthy and feeling good with the foods that you're eating now, then that propensity will become less and less over time. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Alberto said, I made it on time. Yes. Hello, Liv. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Joette. Just got your package. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you got the package. A bunch of people got the packages. If you missed our episode 100, I did a big giveaway. Watch Jimmy Rants. We'll do more giveaways in the future. It's not easy for me and definitely not worth it. Honestly, I get my satisfaction just from the smell. Joshua, and a lot of people do. I mean, I don't mind smelling bread. I don't mind the smells of crappy garbage as long as I don't get secondhand insulin response. Although some people would say that you get somewhat of an insulin response even from the smell. So don't overexpose your nostrils to that. Where is my package, says Liv. Did you enter the contest? You have to enter the contest. Merry Christmas to you, Liv. All right. I don't know what can be done, what can't be done in a keto way. So why? Just why, says Kitty Caddick. Yeah, now there's no excuse. When I first started on the Atkins diet in 2004, was my foray into low carb and eventually to keto, there were very few options, like legitimate packaged food options, legitimate recipe options. There was a recipe maker, and she's still around, named Dana Carpenter, who had some really good recipe books back in the day. But there really wasn't a whole lot back then when I first started. And so it was kind of like you're just kind of stuck with what we had. Now, with all the keto books and keto cookbooks, there's definitely no excuse whatsoever. You're so right, Kat. It's so easy because it's so easy to get. Yes, Justin, that's true. It is easy to get. But there is this power within each of us to say no. And so getting to that point where you can tell yourself no and be okay with that means you've turned the page. And that propensity to slip back into old habits again goes away. Just being prepared. Yep. That's true, Kitty Caddick. I always call sugar my addiction, pleasure center, if the brain is almost hardwired. Justin, it is, and especially once you've kind of tasted that in your past, and your brain remembers that, and your brain's looking for a, hey, let's just say for what it is. It's looking for a hit, just like a drug addict looking for a hit, just like someone who's an alcoholic looking for the buzz. Your brain is waiting for you to give it the sugar buzz. And when you don't give it to it, you eventually lose that craving for it, but it is a hard road until you can unwire that hard wiring. Nancy Virginia Beach says, I focus on one meal at a time, and I aim for healthy keto at each of the meals. If I mess up at a meal, I get right back on track the next meal. Nancy, that is the perfect strategy. You've heard me articulate that many times on these Jimmy Rants, that there is no fall off the wagon. People like to use a lot of mantras when it comes to weight loss and health. There is no fall off the wagon. You're still on your keto journey. Even if you have a slip up, you just get right back on plan again. So you're spot on. Spot on. Yes, sugar becomes a distant memory. Yeah, Alberto, it really does. The mitochondria not requiring sugars anymore. And see, that's the beauty too, Alberto, is once you fuel your body with fat, your body gets very used to fat, where even the tables turn. You no longer crave sugar, you actually crave fat. And sometimes this is what happens too. Sometimes people think they crave sugar and carbohydrate when actually their body's screaming at them to feed it fat. But it's mixed signals. We mistake that hunger, that craving for fat for carbohydrate. We think that fat craving is actually a carbohydrate craving. So we feed it carbohydrate and the body's going, whoa. That's not what I asked for. Please give me fat. And so the next time you feel like you've got a carb craving and you feel like you're going to slip back into old habits again, that's when you need to have something fatty, because it will take away that carbohydrate craving. You don't believe me? It happens like clockwork. In my book, Keto Clarity, we actually give a strategy for doing this. So the next time you feel a carb craving, I want you to have on hand some hard cheese, like a cheddar cheese, Colby Jack cheese, any cheese that you like. Not American cheese. That's not cheese. That's a whole nother rant. But get a little bit of that, and then put some grass-fed butter on top of the cheese, and then stick it in your pie hole. So when you do that, you're giving your body what it actually needs, and that's fat, and it will calm down that carb craving. Give it about 10 to 15 minutes, and your brain will say, finally, dummy, you gave me what I wanted. Hello, Lauren. Hello, Steph. Thanks for being here. Barnyard Coffee says, I have learned from my small slip-ups that I really pay attention to how I feel after it. I generally feel so bad that it creates a new memory for that food, and it's not a pleasant one. Barnyard Coffee nailed it. Yes. So you don't slip back into old habits if you start going, whoa. When I have X food that I don't eat anymore, I have this really bad result. And so you do that enough, unless you're sadistic, you will stop doing that behavior. So good point. I love that. Hello, Darla Daisy. Thank you for being here. So if you're just joining us, we are talking about on this Jimmy Rants episode why it is so easy to slip back into old eating habits again. And people, they beat themselves up. Oh my gosh, I was doing so well in keto and I decided to have a donut and I don't know why I wanted it. Well, your brain is screaming at you to try to get you to keep doing all the things you've conditioned it to do for years and decades. And you're unwiring all of that when you go keto. And so embrace the ketogenic diet. Be patient with yourself. If you, quote, slip up, it's okay. Just get right back on plan again, because at some point your brain makes that permanent switch where you don't slip up anymore. Or if you do slip up, you immediately recognize it and you're right back on plan again. This is not something that's going to just heal overnight if it's been years and decades in the making. So be kind to yourself. Love yourself through this, you guys. I'm getting far too many emails from people. They just get so frustrated and they think they've just messed everything up because they slipped up. And they're wondering, oh my gosh, I thought keto had healed me of a... It is. Just give it time. All right, that's it for this Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. If you missed any of our past episodes, you can access them there. And here's how we work. We start on Instagram, so go follow me there, Living Low Carb Man, LivinLowCarbMan. And you can watch me live just like all these awesome people did here today. And then it's up for 24 hours for replay on Instagram. Then we pop it on over to YouTube, so go look up Jimmy Rants on YouTube. You can find the past episodes, and we also have a Jimmy Rants podcast, which I've been soliciting lately. Lots and lots of reviews. I really need some reviews up on Apple Podcasts for the Jimmy Rants podcast. So go write a review for us. Will really help us out. Again, you guys, all of this is at JimmyRants.com. So until next time, we'll see you then.